So back to the story. It's about 2013 at this point. I'm on Kauai, and I'm just kind of giving a background of what happened. And like I said, I think it's really important that people will understand that my whole life I was like a leftist, and I saw myself as more black, and I was anti-white. Because I think it's because I looked at myself as Jewish, so I really did like race mixing. Like I would see a black woman and a white man, and I really liked that, or a mixed race person, and I really had like a kind of an aversion toward white people. So I'm not even making that up. That was the way it was, and I think it's because I did see myself as Jewish. I saw myself as more black, and I was anti-white, and so I was very leftist. I was very liberal. I was basic, and I was, I supported communism and Marxism, and I wanted race mixing. So I think it's because I saw Jews as kind of race mixed, So back to the story though. At this time, this was about 2013. I wanted to destroy Christianity. Like I wanted to just undermine it and uproot it. So this was kind of the thesis that I was giving out on INTP Central. This is when I was on Kauai. My grandpa was religious, it seemed to me a little bit, but he kind of confused me because he also seemed kind of not religious, because he was very scientific and he's saying everything is energy and God is energy, but he still was kind of spiritual, and he was still kind of, in my opinion, right-wing and conservative, like upholding and extolling the importance of hard work and, getting a job and all that. And I'm like, nah, I think he's kind of a white supremacist, and I was just confused at the time, but because, usually white supremacists would be like, yeah, you got to, get a job, work hard and stuff. And I was thinking that my grandpa was that way. And he was trying to force me to get a job because he didn't believe the quadrant model. And he thought that, I was just doing that so I could stay independent on my mom and dad. And it's just retarded, dude. So I was stuck in Kauai, and it was just a stupid situation. I wanted to leave. I wanted my mom to talk to my mom and dad. I wanted to reestablish a normal relationship, and I wanted help with to get the quadrant model out, and I wanted, to get basketball videos of when I was younger, and I'll get to that. But this was kind of the thesis that I was propagating on INTV Central. So I basically argued like King David. King David, he pretends to be against the Jews, but then he goes out and he lives with the Philistine king, and the Philistine king loves him, but every night he would go out and he would kill Philistines. And then when the Philistines told the king, like, hey, David's killing us every night, David said, what? The king said, what? What are you talking about? David's like my best friend. I love David. David's a great guy. And I was basically arguing that's the same thing that Jesus did. I was thinking that the Christianity was a deception. Jesus is a trickster. It was a trick to destroy the enemies of the Jews and save the Jews. And that was my thesis. And the idea was, Gibbon said Christianity destroyed the Roman Empire. And, and when I looked at the writings, when I looked at the New Testament, Paul's like, yeah, you Gentiles can accept Christianity, but you can be grafted out, but the Jews will all be saved. Israel will all be saved. And I'm like, it seems like he was just, they're just trying to get the Gentiles to adopt Christianity and save the Jews. And it's like, yeah, can you please give us material resources? And it just seemed like a big trick to me. And even Jesus, I started recognizing that Jesus in the stories, he's not for the Gentiles. So then I started talking to a Messianic guy when I was in Kauai, and the Messianic guy was saying he's a Messianic Jew. So Messianic Jews believe that, Jesus only came for lost tribes of Israel. And he's saying, Jesus was with Samaritans, but only Samaritans because they were lost tribes of Israel. And Jesus only came for the Jews. And Paul went to the Gentiles, but even Paul only really came for the lost tribes of Israel. So I was starting to get confused about that. But my thesis was that, and it seemed to be backed up by the Old Testament, because my thesis was that Christianity was just a trick to destroy the Roman Empire and save the Jews. It was kind of a Darwinian trick to save the Jewish genes, I thought. So I was like, look at the Old Testament and look at these stories where they convert the enemy and then destroy the enemy. Like Jonah, he only wants to save the Jews, but then God tells him, no, convert the Ninevites. So he converts the Ninevites, and then the Ninevites were sackcloth, but then later in the Bible it says the Ninevites were destroyed. But the Jews, in my opinion, were saved by that, because by converting their enemy, the Ninevites, they turned an enemy into an ally. And then even the story of Dinah, where they circumcised their enemy, which is symbolic of a conversion, and then when their enemy is circumcised, then they kill them. And I was like, that's the same thing that happened with Christianity. They turned them to the Abrahamic religion, and then once they returned to the Abrahamic religion, Christianity eroded their empire and destroyed them, and it saved the Jews. They were supposed to be killed by the Romans for their sins. The Jews were sinful. They didn't obey, and disobedience is death. Obedience is a second quadrant, behavior. Disobedience is the fourth quadrant, knowledge. Knowledge and disobedience. To know is to not have ignorant bliss, and it's to not believe. And my thesis was that knowing is closer to the flow, and it's close to death. Like even Adam and Eve, they drink, or it says that Eve, or it said that Eve like knew him or something like that. And people say that not knowledge is sex and knowledge is death. And this is what I was articulating on INTP Central. And I was saying, so knowing is disobedience. It's not behavior. Behavior is life, and disobedience is death, and knowledge, knowing. And, God says after they eat from the fruit that they will surely die. And according to rabbis, eating from the fruit was drinking wine and probably sex. And I was saying that that's related to knowledge, knowing, because in the Bible, knowing and sex, the word knowing and sex are synonymous. So I was like, yes, the Jews don't believe because they're more knowledge oriented. I was trying to make the Jews the good guys and the Gentiles the bad guys because I was anti-white, and I wanted to destroy, and I wanted to subvert Christianity, and I wanted to destroy Christianity because I saw Christianity as white supremacist, and I thought if I could degrade it and degenerate it, then I can defeat the white people. I was a leftist, communist. So, that's what I wanted to do. And so I'm saying, yeah, the Jews, they're not obeying, but look at like the story where they're not obeying, they're for knowledge, but then they put up a snake, and everyone who looks upon the snake lives. Like when they put up Jesus, they lived because they made a sacrifice to save them from their sins. And they should have been killed by their enemies, the Romans, but they converted the enemies to destroy them. So that was my thesis. I wanted to undermine and undercut Christianity. And again, I think it's because I was a leftist and I wanted to really destroy white people. But, and defeat white people because I saw myself as more a person of color and Jewish. And I saw, and I didn't like how white people would be like, oh yeah, the Bible's against the Jews. And I'd be like, no, look, Jesus does say, yeah, you brood of vipers, when he's talking about the Pharisees. So I'd be like, yeah, it's just the Pharisees first off. But second off, he's just talking about, and late in the next chapter, he says the capstone that I rejected, that's rejected will be, or the stone that was rejected will become the capstone. And he was talking about the Jews. He's rejected them, but they will become the capstone. And really, it's all about the Jews and saving the Jews. And no, you guys have it all wrong. You Gentiles have it all wrong. It's all for the Jews. Because I wanted to subvert it all. But really, and at the same time, I really was just a communist. I wanted to destroy Christianity. And I wanted to help the people of color and save the people of color in my view. So that's the way that I was looking at things. And but at the same time, so I'm writing all this stuff on INTP Central, and I'm writing all this stuff on Facebook. But as I said, my mom was hiding everything that I was posting on Facebook. Now, at the same time, I was trying to get basketball videos of when I was younger because, like I said, first off, I lost the swag flow and I wanted to study it. I'm not going to get into details about what that is, but I wanted to see how I moved in basketball and stuff too. I wanted to see how I shot, what I did and stuff, and I wanted to fix, also my dribble moves. I can duplicate the dribble moves. Like, I'm not gonna get into details, but there's certain moves that I did when I was unconscious, and it helps my game so much to be able to see what I did, because there's certain things that work, like a between the legs or crossover between the legs and stuff like that. There's certain moves that really work, and I did things unconsciously. And studying with what I did when I was considered the best in the nation, it helps a lot, right? And I had such great games all the time, and just having videos would be spectacular. So I was trying to ask people for videos when I was younger. And so I got some videos from my friend Ed, but then I'm asking some of my other teammates, and some of my teammates are like, yeah, we can get you videos, Ryan. But at this time I was posting all this stuff, all this anti-religious stuff, communist stuff on Facebook. And I think a part of the reason why I was doing it was I wanted to kind of scare people to get me videos, to make them think like, oh, this guy's really smart, he's going to be really powerful, and we should get him videos. So maybe I was a little mentally off at the time, and I was trying, you know, that's a mechanism to try to get your way. My grandpa would say I was trying to make things happen, right? But the thing also was, like, I was posting the quadrant stuff and nobody was responding to it. I didn't know that my mom had my password and she was hiding all my stuff. And this is what I'm going to get at, is like, if my mom and would have just been supportive of me, all this crazy stuff wouldn't have happened. If they just would have been normal to me, but they weren't normal. They were treating me weird. And I was stuck on Kawhi, and if all this stuff didn't happen, all this crazy stuff wouldn't have happened. If they would have just talked to me, let me tell them about basketball. But my grandpa made up the rule, no talk about the past. And my mom's like, no talk about the past, you're schizophrenic loser. And she I feel like my grandpa screwed things up a lot. And it was just a terrible situation. So anyways, I'm asking people for basketball videos, but then some of my teammates were like, yeah, we can get you basketball videos. But then I realized that my mom was hiding all my posts. So then I unhid all my posts. But then I had all these videos that were anti-religious, communistic, me basically trying to say how the capitalist society is messed up. And, you know, because I was a communist and I was anti-white and I wanted to basically destroy society. I was a Marxist. And, you know, all the, you know, the jobs are, you know, they don't really create value. And, you know, this, and I was in my Darwinian ideas that the Bible was just, you know, that religion is just Darwinian and it's basically white supremacist. But, you know, I wasn't necessarily saying it in that way, that was white supremacist, but I was saying it was Darwinian and religion's just fake. And, you know, and I was like, for instance, I made like a post of me like, let my people go, with me like Moses with a stick for my phallic, because I was just trying to degrade religion and just say that like it's all bull crap and it was just all a trick. It was a Darwinian trick by the Jews. And so, but then my teammates are looking at this now because I just unhid all of it. Now, if my mom wouldn't have, you know, if she would have just let me post the stuff, maybe I would have gotten some feedback earlier and people being like, hey, this stuff is weird, stop posting this. But, you know, everything was being hidden, so I wasn't getting any feedback. I was stuck on Kawhi. This was just a bizarre situation. I want to be off Kawhi, and I wouldn't have been doing all this stuff if I wasn't stuck on Kawhi, is the main thing. And if my mom and dad would have just talked to me and just, you know, been normal, but they're not, and they're treating me terrible. So now I'm stuck on Kawhi. And then my teammates were like, oh, Ryan, actually, we don't have your videos. I lost the videos, or, you know, there was a flood and the videos. So now I'm freaking out. And I know that I screwed up. And I was kind of trying to make things happen, as my grandpa said, and I wanted to kind of scare people to think how smart I was and how much power I'm going to get. And then I thought that would get them to get me more videos. But now I unhid all this anti-religious stuff, and I'm realizing a lot of my teammates are religious a little bit. And even though I see religious as white supremacist and a lot of my teammates are black, a lot of them are religious, you know? And so now I'm just like freaking out, and I'm like, damn. So now I'm trying to, you know, I'm really trying to get them to give me the videos, and everything's just deteriorating and falling apart. So I'm kind of like, one of my teammates, I'm kind of like harassing him because I'm freaking out. I really want these videos bad. So I'm basically saying like, you know, I'm acting weird and I'm trying to get the videos. I'm like, basically like, dude, I know you guys are lying. I know you have the videos, and I'm, you know, kind of acting in a threatening way. And then I ended up asking my basketball coach for videos. And he said he didn't have them. And I'm thinking to myself, no, they're just saying this because you screwed up and you put up all the communist stuff. And now I'm starting to really freak out. And yes, everything is deteriorating and I'm losing it. And so then I start to try to threaten, basically act like I'm very, very powerful and I'm going to get power. And you know, because for many years, like I said, since the beginning of college, I just wanted basketball videos and I wanted to fix my shot and stuff like that. And also, I discovered that I can only write raps if I'm playing basketball, serious basketball, and I want to fix my game. You know, I'd quit basketball thinking I was going to focus on rap. But then after I quit, I realized I can only write raps when I'm nervous and playing basketball. And people are going to think, oh, this guy's freaking crazy. What are you talking about? I know how I work. When I'm nervous, even if I go on a trip, I can write raps very well. I can rhyme very well. I know how my mind works. So don't think I'm crazy. I know what I'm talking about. So, I mean, it's just retarded. I hate if anybody thinks I'm crazy with this stuff. So I did really want to get basketball videos, and now things are just falling apart. And now I'm acting threatening online. And now because now the people who said that they had my videos are now saying they don't have the videos. And I realized that I screwed up, and I realized that everything is falling apart. And I'm on Kawhi, and I want to get off Kawhi, and I want to talk to my mom and dad, and they're not talking to me, and they're like, you're a schizophrenic loser. And it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I am starting to go crazy because they're treating me like I'm being treated like crap. And I did discover the theory of everything, but they don't believe me. So everything just is deteriorating at that point. And so I'm telling my friend, dude, I start making rap videos. And in my rap videos, I'm like, I know you guys are lying, but I'm not saying it explicitly, but I'm trying to subtly gesture like, you guys better not freaking lie to me. I know you have my videos, don't lie to me. But I'm not saying the videos explicitly, but I'm like trying to show myself to be very powerful and strong, right? To manipulate them, the people to help me. And I'm just like going crazy. Everything's falling apart. For years, I wanted the basketball videos. Now everything is falling apart. So then I go on to like my Harvard Westlake website, and I start expounding my communist ideas, because I'm trying to, first off, I still am a leftist, and I still am. And that's what part of the reason why I'm so into basketball and rap too. Like I said, I'm into like black stuff, and I'm anti-white. But at the same time, like I'm trying to express my power and stuff, like, I'm going to get power, and I discovered the theory of everything. And so, help me get my basketball videos. That's really what I wanted. But I'm not crazy, guys. I'm really not crazy. And, I took the MMPI and stuff, and the doctor said, yeah, he's not crazy. It's a fact. I don't have any mental illness. I don't have bipolar, schizophrenia, no mental illness. The doctors gave me the MMPI said so. And I'm going to get to that. But things are just falling apart at this point. And I want, and I'm stuck on Kawhi, and I did discover the theory of everything. And it's just like everything was just going crazy, going out of control. And now I feel like my life is being destroyed. I want to get the basketball videos. And then so I'm trying to get a hold of my dad, because I want him to help me in this situation. My mom's telling me, your dad's never going to talk to you, you schizophrenic fucking loser. Get it through your head. He doesn't want anything to do with you. Don't you, don't you remember how you treated him? And I'm thinking to myself, and I want to tell her, listen, it wasn't my fault. If it wasn't for the shoot away machine, none of this would be happening right now. I would still be shooting really well. My basketball would have been still going good. Dad would still be liking me. You would still be liking me. Things would not be in this terrible situation. It's, stop trying to make me into such a bad guy. Let's just, let's move on. And she's like, no, why do you care about basketball? Why do you want to get your basketball videos? Oh my God, you're 23. Get a life. You're such a loser. You're stuck in the past. That's why you're schizophrenic, because you're stuck in the past. And I'm like, no, listen to me. I'm not stuck in the past. I'm the one who wants to move on. And don't want the basketball videos because I'm stuck in the past. I want to study how I moved. And it does help me a lot. You don't know how much it helps me. And I'll get to that. Like when my friend Malik's dad gave me some videos, I saw how I was doing like the concept between the legs, back and forth thing. And I saw how I was moving into shots and doing the shots when I was unconscious and one of the best players in the country. And it exponentially helps my game. Just one video, just 2 videos. And if I could just get more videos, it would help so much. And that's what the stuff that helped me when I was playing with Compton College. I got way better. And then after that, when I got the videos that was when I was playing with Compton College. And after that, when I got the videos from Kenny, just like a few of them, that helped my game exponentially even more. Because I'm seeing what I did. I'm seeing how I moved into shots and stuff. And just a few videos helped so much. So at this point on Kawhi, everything is just out of control. And everything is just deteriorating, but not beyond belief. And I'll get to what happens next. And this is when things just like spiral.